All right. Okay. All right. So I just recorded this, and I had a Bluetooth clicker to turn the recording on and off, and it was not connected. So I just talked for about 10 minutes, and all that footage is non-existent while I stared into a camera with on the other side facing a completely black screen. So we're gonna fucking reshoot it. So what I was talking about was discipline, um, sort of in depth, more about the importance of discipline rather than what it is. But we started off talking about discipline and building a foundation to understand the importance, to understand what it actually is, and how having it and knowing what you actually have is useful to using it. So we'll start right back there. This is my second video, by the way. Well, technically it's my third now, but it's the second one that's actually being recorded. Unless I misclicked. Let me check that quickly before I do it again. Yes, we are recording. Perfect. Okay. So, discipline. I don't think most people fully understand what discipline is. When most people think of discipline, they think of cold plunges, they think of waking up at 4:30 in the morning, they think about running a triathlon, they think about training, they think about all of this intense physical endurance and suffering. And that is, or at least can be, a form of discipline, but it's not what the concept is. It's not what it actually is. It can be an action of discipline, but it's not what discipline is itself. So the way I describe discipline is having a goal, okay, and then having a million different actions you can do every single second of your life, and you determining out of all of these options, I want to do this, or I can do this, and if I do this, I'm extremely more likely to have my goal. And from there, if you choose to say, I don't want to do this, this is slow, this is repetitious, this is annoying, this is hard, I'm not good at it, or whatever way you feel, whatever friction is keeping you from just getting your shit done, okay? So there's that option, and choosing the right option, choosing the option that will get you closer to your goal. That is discipline. Doing things when everything in your body is telling you, I'd rather do this, okay? Now, I think true discipline is rare. I think most people get into a position where if they don't perform, they will lose their job, lose their house, lose their wife, lose whatever they care about. And that is extremely more powerful than I'm fine, but I want more, right? People are more reactive to loss than gain. And that's why most people have no problem going to their 9 to 5 every day and doing everything they need to not get fired, but then struggle to not buy the Doritos, or buy some dumbbells and do this motion with them a couple times, right? It sounds simple, but most people struggle with it. So that's what discipline is. It's doing something when you don't want to do it to achieve what you do want, okay? And I think a lot of people go through their lives not actually doing stuff they want to do, but doing stuff which chemically pleases them, right? So there's all of these different things that, chemicals, right? All these different chemicals that plug into certain receptors, and then your brain translates it, and then you say, oh, this feels good, or oh, this feels bad, or I don't want to fall off the fucking cliff. Well, that's not That's not what I meant. But it's an example of it, the fear of not wanting to fall off the fucking cliff. So, most people don't actually have discipline when it comes to gain, but they do have enforced discipline to avoid loss aversion. I believe that is an actual psychological term, loss aversion. The concept that people are more proactive to avoid loss than to earn rewards or gain something they desire. So obviously they don't desire enough. So now that we've covered what discipline is on a simplified level, we're not going to talk about what creates discipline on a biological, chemical, cognitive, psychological, psychiatrical, whatever, right? Because there's a million different fields we can go into to talk about more in depth about what's not psychology, what discipline is, right? The discipline to not say, forget it, I said psychology, let's just roll with it, but to correct myself and say, no, it's not psychology, it's discipline. So, now that we know what discipline is, I'm going to sit down. I tried that. Take number 1 that wasn't taken, and I kind of liked it. Helped me relax a little bit more, I suppose. So, what are the applications of discipline? The applications of discipline are anytime you want to do anything that's not not something a shitty person would do. Okay, right. It takes no discipline to play Xbox. Takes no discipline to open and eat a bag of Doritos. Takes no discipline to buy a Monster. That's where I lacked discipline in the past. I love my Monsters, or at least I did love my Monsters. I now have chose to hate them because they are destroying my body, and I like tea. Tea is a wonderful replacement, and not the type of tea that is an eighth of sugar in the ratios, but tea that actually comes from herbs and spices and leaves and natural things that are healthy, rather than destroying you and forcing you to buy more of that product to put money in someone else's pocket. So, discipline is applicable for anything that is foreign but required to meet goals, okay? So, I believe when you are starting something you're not familiar with and you're not used to, something that takes actual force and determination and discipline, it's incredibly difficult. But as you become more competent in whatever you're trying to do, that can be starting a business, that can be getting better at speech, as we're doing right now, as I'm doing right now and you're viewing. That's probably the future version of me viewing this. I don't plan on posting this on YouTube. Maybe I will for laughs, like 20 years from now. If I don't die of Monster overconsumption. Any consumption of Monster or any energy is overconsumption. We should get energy from our bodies, from sleep, not taurine or caffeine or I think taurine and caffeine are only 2 things in here, besides the rest of the Oh, we got cellulose. We got crystalline cellulose. That's uh, that's bad. That's real bad. I don't even know what that is, but cellulose. That sounds like a nightmare. Um, so let's stop talking about monsters and cellulose. Let's get back to discipline. Right, went too far into the monster example. Everyone struggles with discipline. Unless your parents really drilled it into your mind that it is a thing to take pride in, to say, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to take pride and enjoy doing it because I'm better than all of you, right? I don't believe a lot of parents instill that in their children, in their offspring. Instead, they just force them to perform. And I think that's detrimental because then they associate hard work with what's the word? With resentment, right? I think parents should encourage, influence, persuade, not by buying them things in return, and essentially inspire them, show them what discipline offers, show them what hard work offers, show them that discipline, if you have enough of it, will buy you a Porsche. If you have a lot of it, will buy you a Bugatti. Now, most of us don't value Bugatti enough to be that disciplined and become a multi-millionaire of that scale. That's completely fine. Life is about getting what you want without hurting other people and benefiting those around you. That's what I think a good life is. But discipline gets you nice stuff. It doesn't even have to be physical or a product or something you buy. It can be the discipline to become better at speech. It can be the discipline to work on your social skills, your leadership skills, your seduction skills if you are single. That is something I need to work on. So, discipline is absolutely essential if you value your life, and most people will say they do, but obviously they don't because they are eating shit, drinking shit, drive a shit car, have a shitty relationship, have shitty kids because they weren't raised right, and their life is full of shit. So, one of the examples, one of the very, very mature examples I used, not examples, metaphors. What it was is that if you try to rush things, if you try to do things easily, if you try to just get it done, if you try to loophole it, if you try to do anything except for what actually needs to be done, it is essentially, instead of finding, mining, melting gold, and then pouring it into a mold, and then having the patience to let it solidify, and taking it out of the mold and having a gold bar. Now, using all the loopholes, all the other stuff besides what you actually need to do, is replacing all of those tasks that are relatively difficult and just saying, I'm going to shit, I'm going to clump up that shit, I'm going to shove it into a mold, and then I'm going to take it out of the mold. And then I'm going to get some gold vinyl wrap that I found somewhere or got for free and wrap the shit bar in the golden vinyl. Now, if you are about 500 miles away, Probably couldn't tell the difference, I'll be honest with you. But the moment you pick up that shit bar, it's gonna crumble, or it's gonna crush, or it's going to ooze in your hand. What are you left with? You're left with a shitty smell, a shitty hand, and a shitty life. Okay? So, instead, I suggest, and I also suggest to myself because we all struggle, I suggest that we go find an opportunity, go find that gold, take the work to extract that value or build skills, take it back to where it can be processed or invested, take time to let those things do its thing, to let investments build, to let other opportunities present themselves to invest what you've already created, and wait for that goal to solidify, and then enjoy the golden bar that you earned while still working to make many other gold bars, because humans will never be happy unless that happiness comes from internal reasons. You may experience joy, but the joy will fade, the value of the golden bar will fade, and you're going to decide, well, I'm fine now, but it would be better if I had 2 gold bars. Then you might get sick of gold bars when you can get as many gold bars as you want. Then you might try to find a more valuable ore and do fancy stuff with that. So, to go back to discipline, discipline is essential, discipline is crucial, discipline is your friend. Anything that pulls you away from the vision in your mind of what the person who just got everything they wanted got is shit. Okay? So, I believe we're going to end it here. I'm praying that the camera has not miraculously shut itself off, or that my phone has not died, because then I refuse to be angry. I'll be very happy that I get to shoot this for a 3rd time. So, thank you for staying with me. I'm contemplating uploading this to YouTube. We'll see what happens. I'm leaning towards yes. I think people need my shit bar, gold bar comparison. So, if you're seeing this, well, you know my decision I made. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope that I've provided value. I know that I've provided value. If you genuinely didn't know this before, didn't care enough to really believe it and value my message, because you can find this message just about anywhere. It's a very common message because it is very critical. But I provided value by making it a little bit easier for its way to find itself to you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for everything. Thank you for listening to me ramble at the end of the video as we speak. My clicker's over there. I'm gonna have to walk up to you and shut the camera off. I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna say bye. Then I'm gonna walk up to the camera. Press the rounded square within a white circle, and then the video will end. So let's do this now.